This is Lisette from Candid Equitation and Zorro, Francine's horse. So some of you might remember Zorro when he was here as a youngster. He grew up here from 1 year old to 3 year old. He's a quarter horse, he's a grulla, that's the color, and he's very nice. And he's owned by Francine, who's probably going to watch this too. Hello, Francine. And Francine asked us if we could take him back here for a month or 2 or 3, or however long it takes, to start him under saddle, to start him ridden. So we're going through the process, and this is part of it. And I thought I'd show you how far we've gotten. We've had him for a couple of weeks, I think, and he's like super good student. So he's doing his round pen work with the saddle on already. We are having some trouble finding a saddle that fits him well. So he's got a funny pony saddle on him with a pad that's much too big. But he's doing very well. See how nicely he turned in, and he's licking and chewing. He's being a very good boy. And this is Lisette. Hello, Lisette. If you want to look her up on Facebook, her Facebook page is called Candid Equitation. She's a professional horse trainer. She was supposed to be here for 4 days in February to help me out with my youngsters, because she's, well, super good at starting horses. And I need someone to help me once in a while. I can't do everything alone. I get stuck in my own routines and in my own ways of doing it, and it's really good to have someone else come in who's better than you and help you, just like I have Norbert and Rike. I also have Lisette. And well, she came for 4 days, and here we are, I don't know, 3 months later, and she's still here. So lucky me. Corona spring has been really good to me, and now we're going to see what's happening. She dropped the whip. She's going up to him, just giving him a pat and desensitizing a bit. Oh, desensitizing a bit more. Well, here's another way that Zorro has been a super student. He's just really, really not bothered by anything that's happening like that. I think that's the first time she's hitting the saddle with her hand. I know she's done some work with the flag, but nothing really bothers him. He's very cool. This is the 3rd or 4th time he's carrying a saddle. There was no problem at all getting the saddle on him the very first time. Didn't matter at all to him. It's like, yeah, whatever. And we think it's going to be really easy to put a rider on him too, because he's just not really bothered by anything. There he is, a little bit close up. Alright, we're putting a halter on him to do some of the work with the halter. So if this continues going this well, are we going to put a rider on him soon, right?
Yeah.
You or me?
Probably me.
That's a lot smaller than me, lighter, I should say. So might be a good idea to have her on him, because he's actually not very strong at this point. He had tick fever a while ago, and he's not put on all the weight that he should have on. He's 5 years old. I don't think I mentioned that. And he's much too skinny and thin for a 5-year-old in a way, but that's just from the tick fever. So he's putting on weight very quickly, even in the weeks that he's been here, just from working and eating well, playing with the other boys. And I think he should be strong enough to carry a rider, at least for the first few rides, and then we might give him back to Francine for a few months just to fatten him up and let him think about that, and then bring him back out here in the fall and put some more rides on him. But, you know, depends how it goes. We're just going to keep going and see the evolution of this. So pretty much the same thing happening on the rope, which was happening free, asking him to turn in, change direction, and he's doing that really well too. There you see, change of direction. So horses don't know how to do this. immediately, right? They have to learn how to do this, so this is part of what we've already taught him. And he's learned it really well. With Zorro, sometimes it's not super easy to teach him something new, but once you've taught him, it really seems to stick with him. So I think he's going to be a really super reliable horse. Probably one of those great ones that you can put away for a month or two, and then you bring him out and just throw a saddle on and go riding, and he's just going to be great. Hope you're not getting too much wind again. Alright, there was a yield of the hindquarters, and now we're going to do a yield. Well, I keep saying we. Lizette's going to do a yield of the front. Right? Yielding the front legs, crossing the front legs. Very well done. Yielding the hind legs, the hindquarters again, crossing the hind legs, and yielding the front again. So, it's really cool how you can do this already so smoothly, changing from one to the other with no big deal. That's really good. Really happy with how this is going, and it's been really fun to watch the process, to be an assistant to Lisette in this. It's been really nice, and I'm really glad we got the chance to work with Zorro again. I got the chance to work with Zorro again after knowing him as such a youngster. He's really still very much the same character he was when he was young. Very cool, a little bit funny, quite opinionated. He's a great guy. So, that's how far we are. I think the only thing more we've done, that Lizette's done, is desensitizing with the flag, kind of waving the flag around at him. If she still does that, I'll stick that on to the end of the video. But otherwise, this is pretty much it. Good job. Thanks, Francine, for trusting us with Zorro. Alright, back a few seconds later, I decided to still show you the desensitizing with the flag. So the whole starting process, to me, it has a lot to do with making them understand what is a signal, a sign, a cue, an aid, and what is just random movement, and you shouldn't be worried about it. So if Lisette points and clucks her tongue and then points a whip or a flag at him, he should move. But if Lisette just plays with the flag without pointing and clucking, then he should just stand there and not worry about it. The flag won't hurt him. It's not the flag that he should be afraid of. He should listen to her cues and move when she asks him to move, and not when she's waving the flag around randomly. So here she is, waving the flag around randomly on the other side. Super good. He just learned this the other day. He was a little bit worried about it the first time, but second time he's already super cool. So I'm hoping Lisette will send them off. No? Yep, there she clucked, she pointed, she clucked, and now she's going to desensitize in motion, because sometimes horses can be cool with the flag while they're standing still, because they're in freeze, but then when they start moving, they lose their freeze a bit, and they can't handle it anymore. So it's important that they can handle random movements above them in the saddle in movement, because that's where we're going to be sitting, and we might want to do things like open our jacket or, scratch our head, make random movements, and we don't want the horse to think that every time something above them in the saddle moves or makes a sound, they should run off, obviously. So this is a really good way to teach them that there are signals that should be listened to, and then there's random stuff that has nothing to do with anything. So Lisette always starts to see, now he started trotting, so he got a little bit nervous, and what Lisette does is she keeps going with the flag, with the movement, nice and regular rhythm, until he is not worried anymore. So she wants him to be mentally present, but not worried. It's not alright if he just shuts down, freezes mentally, and tries to be somewhere else, not be present. That's not good enough. She wants him to be present but relaxed. So here we go. So he's still speeding up a little bit every time she comes with a flag from far away, but it's getting better each time. That's really important to have the right timing when you do this exercise, because you need to stop exactly when the horse is feeling more relaxed and not when the horse is stressed. If you stop when the horse is stressed, he's going to get more and more afraid of the flag. If you stop when he's relaxed, he's going to learn to remember that last moment and learn that the flag is nothing to worry about. And here we go on the other side. Don't know how many of you are still with us. We're just going to show you the whole process of how far we've got. And this part is taking a little bit longer than the beginning, because this is the newest part. This is the last thing he learned, just the last couple days. And that needs to go through it a little bit more thoroughly to make sure that he's really all right, because there was a little bit of stress in his face and in his movements. His movements get a little bit more erratic, but then he relaxes again and she can stop. Okay, the swinging up of the flag made him go into a little bit of flight here. He's kind of trying to run away from her. And when you have tools like this, when it's not freedom based, when it's with a halter and a rope, you can stop him from running more away. So you can kind of force him a little bit through that intolerance and wait till he's tolerant of it again. Hope you don't have too much wind. Again, the first approach of the flag made him trot. So she's going to keep doing it until he slows down and relaxes. And she's only going to stop when he relaxes. And when he slows down and relaxes. There you go. He went to a walk, the flag stopped swinging. But I think the flag's only going to go completely away if he relaxes a bit further. There, apparently he did. Oh, and now the approaching flag didn't make him trot. Good, that was the first time. The flag came all the way from the ground to the saddle and didn't make him trot. You see how it's a lot more tension? There's a lot more tension when he's walking than when he's just standing still. Needs a lot more repetitions until he's really relaxed with it. But we'd much rather have him be stressed with the flag in his saddle than with one of us in the saddle, right? You wouldn't want him to be worried about you when you're sitting on him for the first time. So if you do things like this, one little step at a time, it all stays pretty uneventful and pretty safe. There has been no more stress than this. I think this is about as stressed as he's been in the whole process. And there's also been no danger for the humans. Because if you keep the horse relatively relaxed and just go one little step at a time, it just doesn't get very dangerous. Oh, there's always freak accidents, but hey, we've been good so far, knock on wood. Okay, and I think she was really happy with this last reaction, that he was really cool about it. So I think that's it. That's what we wanted to show you today. Thanks for watching. Bye. Say bye.